This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the Strategies for a Better Life show. And today I really welcome Hina Solanki. Really welcome Hina in my show. And I'm looking forward to have the interview with you because you have a very interesting profession, new things to tell, and also your story is really powerful for all those who need some courage and some really power to take for themselves. So welcome in my show, and what I want to ask you is, what is the story of your entrepreneurship? Because you have and of course, what do you do? Because it's really for me interesting.
Thank you. Well, thank you firstly so much for having me here. I think what you do is actually amazing, and it's really important, and it's so important right now. So my story started. So how did I become an entrepreneur? I actually grew up around. My father was an entrepreneur, so the whole family was very entrepreneurial. So I really grew up. I mean, my father. I remember when I was at the age of 13. He actually even would let me do some accounting. Here's the takings. Do the accounting. Before it went to the accountant. So I had responsibilities, and I was allowed to do things very early in life. So I think that makes a big difference because that was instilled in me. And then, life goes, you grow up, life happens, you think you know everything at the age of 18. I got married. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be a very good marriage. Well, it didn't turn out to be a very good marriage, but I have two amazing sons. So
You have two sons. How old
it's
are they now? How
26 and 24.
Oh, fantastic! That's the
Yeah,
privilege of a wrong marriage. You get beautiful children. I have to
that's
say,
it. Perfect. I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. However, it really affected me. It was a dark, abusive marriage. It really did affect me psychologically. It took me a very long time to get to a better place. However, I did seek advice. I finally went to a doctor, went to a homeopath, and I really started getting back on my feet and on the right journey. And actually, I was very lucky. Now we're talking many, many years ago, over 15 years ago, and the doctor I went to see, which was my GP, like a local doctor, actually made me meditate there and then in his clinic. Now, that's unheard of nowadays. I just count myself very lucky and very blessed. He made me sit down in this little office and made me meditate. That was life changing for me because that took me on a whole new journey in my life. I then sought a homeopath, as I mentioned, and had some homeopathic medicine. I was diagnosed as being completely exhausted. The divorce was exhausting. The whole anyone who goes through that will know what I'm talking about. For
yes,
some, it can be
it's
quite
definitely
exhausting. Yeah, it took its
yeah.
toll on me. And then, unfortunately, after a couple of years after I fell ill, I actually suffered not a mini stroke, I got a sunstroke, mild sunstroke. And what happened is my scalp got burnt in the sun, and almost within a couple of weeks, I just started losing hair. So my hair was falling out, my eyelashes were falling out, my eyebrows were falling out. I felt really low, really terrible, and my confidence was absolutely plummeting. I didn't feel good at all about myself. So I seeked a cosmetic tattooist out, and I thought, okay, this looks interesting. So I went ahead and had my eyebrows tattooed and my eyelashes tattooed. And what that did is it just took away that kind of tired, bold look that many people look when they lose their hair. Many people who have chemotherapy will know exactly what I'm talking about. You look tired, you look drained. So I had the procedure. Whilst I was having the procedure, the actual technician was talking to a potential student, I suppose, because it was also a very large training school. Now I'm sitting there as a paid client and thinking that I'm not listening. However, obviously I did. My subconscious mind took it all in because within 2 days I realised that I wanted to do the same thing. For I think in those days it was I paid about £900. I don't know what that is in dollars, but £900 for two procedures. when my confidence was here and took me up to there over a night. I thought that was amazing. I just thought, you know what, if you can make people feel like I felt, that's just amazing. And I wanted to do the same for other people.
So that was a
It
kind of healing miracle.
it was my life purpose. My illness took me to my life purpose. It really did. It led me there. Even the darker marriage, I never look back and have regrets. I think, getting through everything, I have, it's pure positivity and faith. And I'm grateful for every experience I have. In fact, I have a really powerful affirmation that I love to use, or incantation. You can use it as an incantation. Is I let go of my past. Thank you for the lessons and the wisdom. I am now free. So I say that to myself all the time because every experience I believe we have in life is a lesson. We can learn from it. If you don't take any learning from it, then you're missing something. And it's really just to help you go forward. Anyway, I then I learned medical tattooing as well. So I help remodel scars, I help burn victims, I help self harmers, I help cancer patients remodel anything that's missing, remodel skin. I can remodel it by remodeling it with other devices or tattooing it, camouflage. I use various procedures, methods that I've learned over time. Since then, earned awards. I now have global clientele. From having an illness, I now have a business, which has led me to have global clientele and an A-list on my data. That's pretty amazing, and that's all come from my illness.
It's really such an empowering story. I always say to my clients, there is hope for you because, in spite of your illness, you are not acting like the poor me, the victim, and you take your opportunities in spite of all the terrible things happen to you. And it's a great story because um, I've written questions, and one of the things I wanted to ask you is how did you feel or could connect to your confidence? And I think the meditation is where it's all started, all the rest in your head and the peace in your heart. I think that's what strikes me. Do I understand that well?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you've really, I think it makes a difference when I had two young children at the time of my divorce. They were 2 and 4, and I'm completely financially self-supported, so I had no support whatsoever. So I think that puts you in a different position anyway, because anyone knows it's a mother, you become a lioness, right?
I know, I know.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's when our strength truly comes through, and that's when
yeah,
you just get on with it. You have to, because you're responsible for you're responsible for something now, and that's what really helped me. But I think most importantly for confidence, everybody must remember we are positive, we stay positive, but it's also okay to have a bad day sometimes. We all have that little lull,
yeah.
and don't punish yourself for it, because it took me a very long time to realize that also. If I drop down, or I'd be like angry with myself and, come on, Hina, you're better than this, or you're stronger than this. I didn't allow myself that time. And I think it's so important for you to. So it's okay if you're not feeling too great sometimes, but just make sure you don't stay in that state of mind for too long. Let yourself be, but make sure you've got strategies to make sure you can come out of it. What are you doing? Do you have rituals? Do you have methods? What are you doing to with yourself when you're not feeling too great? How do you reground yourself?
Yes, I really can relate to that, what you say. And for me, I started as well as a single mother. And of course, I had off days, like you say. And the privilege of being a single mother is that life doesn't allow you to stay too long in the down. And then you have to come up. And JT asks us also those questions, and I think yes, my strength is like what you say, and I hope all our listeners can relate to that. that your strength is how you can come up again and even
Yeah.
better. And
Yes.
that we fall down, I think it's normal. And I think we are very good in coming up and make us our pain our gain.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
also like an entrepreneur, that's also how to get some money from it. And
Yeah, yeah.
talking about money, you say all the clients come from all over the world. So,
Mhm.
um, can you invite here your clients? What do you want to say to people? I think, like me, I would hesitate a little bit. What do you tell your clients to? I saw your website; it's beautiful. And what do you tell your clients to feel a little bit okay? Because I saw it was semi-permanent, but it's still a tattoo. You have to have strong or straight. How do you call that in English? Not shaking hands.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, stillness. Absolutely. I teach and I used to teach a lot and I used to mentor other students. And I remember one student asked me, how were you when you first did it? Were you shaking or how were you nervous? And I thought, wow, I've never thought about that. And you know what? No, I didn't shake. I've never been nervous. And
You
that's
must
why I
have,
so believe it was my purpose. It was my
yeah,
purpose. I was meant to do that. So there was
that's
no
right.
nerves at all. I mean, I go right into the eyes. I do eyeliners. I have no nerve. I'm not nervous. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at what I do. I could say that quite confidently. But I think it's
So
also because, sorry.
yeah, I would say so. Fly to Hina wherever you are listening from.
Yeah, I think, it's also a matter of a lot of people have said, I think what I've been through these certain things as well, and I understand skin so well on a personal level, and I think
Yeah,
that makes a huge difference.
yes.
Rather than just doing something as a business, I know what people are feeling. I've been there. I know they're not feeling confident. It's my job to make them feel amazing.
I really, really hope that you will find even more clients who can feel amazing because that's all. Although we know it's also the inside, and I think that's also your new program, it's really
Yeah,
good to feel great and to look great. So it's both, I think.
yeah,
What
absolutely.
can you tell me about your new program? Because that's more the inside, I think.
Yeah, so I truly believe there's a magazine called the Parliamentary Review. It's actually a government magazine, and they chose certain people from the private sectors, and I was one to represent micropigmentation. And one of the things I say about it is everyone talks about, you need to work on the inside and then the outside. I believe you can work on both to build confidence. You can work on the outside, which is, yes, it might be a temporary measure, but you also need to work on the inside, right? So that's with your mind. So my new program called Ultimate Success is a new coaching program that's just launching. I had somebody who flew over from Dubai who came in as a consultation, and all she wanted to do was speak with me. She wanted to just speak with me about how I got through what I got through. And that was it. And I have this often, and I soon realized that my clients sometimes often who come into my clinic for cosmetic or medical procedures actually want to talk with me because of the mindset. So I really thought, I need to develop something else for people who just want that side, and I can definitely help them. I think I'm my own case study, as they say. I've been there and
Yeah.
I've come through. So if I can come through, everybody can.
So even if you don't need a tattoo, you can still go to Hina and talk with her. And I can really um, say that it's really important to talk to somebody who listens to you with her heart and with her all her attention, because that's what we need most, and sometimes what we miss in normal health care. There are procedures, and if you have something, one of my clients was so angry this week. She said, I am not a procedure. I'm my own story. I want my own healing and I want to tell my story. And I think what you do, that's important because um, listening to a story will also really heal and make yourself feel more confident and strong and have the courage and the energy to proceed.
Yeah, and courage is a really important word you use there as
Yeah,
well, because
yeah,
it takes courage. Because sometimes when you're not
definitely.
feeling too good, it takes a lot of courage to ask for help, and I think that is so important. But
Yeah,
yeah, definitely, I'm there to listen to them, but also to give them some tools to help them, to deal with things themselves and give, like yourself, I think, what you do is amazing. You give them strategies, you give them healing, and that's the same thing on a different path, let's say, for business and for personal life.
yes, yes. So we agree that it's really important. And what I really see is if you are going to have your own show, also a Millionaire Flix, reach out to a lot of people, and I really hope a lot of people will find you. And speaking about that, how can they find you?
Yeah, well, they can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Hina Solanki one, Facebook. I often do lives on Facebook, so please come and join. Otherwise, my web address is hinasolanki.com.
Thank you very much, Hina, for this really interesting, encouraging, and seeing things in a new perspective when you have or your permanent, semi-permanent makeup or have that conversation with you. So thank you for this interview. Take care, and I hope to speak to you next time. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.